Hello and welcome to the Big Freeze Art Festival. I'm delighted today to be introducing Shelly Perkins, who in early 2017 was the Friends of SPRI artist in residence and travelled to Antarctica. Now, Shelly's a wildlife artist. She's done work for a range of places such as the BBC Wildlife magazine. She's done work for Art Safari, who do painting holidays, and all sorts of other things. So Shelly, perhaps you could tell us a bit about the kind of work that you do.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Charlotte. So yeah, as you've explained, I'm a wildlife artist. This sort of stems from a real passion for animals and wildlife, which started at a really young age, watching David Attenborough documentaries, like I'm sure we all were, and just being really, really inspired by the amazing places that I was seeing and the beautiful wildlife. So yeah, my work. I try to my work is themed around the places that I've travelled to, and viewing wildlife in its natural habitat is really important. So most of my commissions, so I get commissions for commercial illustration projects, but those tend to be with a sort of conservation theme. So I've done work for places like the RSPB, the Vincent Wildlife Trust, WWF. So really lovely projects championing conservation issues or projects that might be going on. And I also create a really wide range of artwork inspired by my trips and my love of wildlife.
So tell us about your trip to Antarctica then in 2017. What was it that inspired you to apply, and what did you get up to when you were on the trip to Antarctica?
Yeah, wow. So yeah, as I said, I think capturing wildlife in its natural habitat is just something that I'm really keen to kind of experience and sort of sketch. And when I found out about the residency through Darren Rees, another wildlife artist who went, I think it was 2 years before me, and I just thought that sounds like an incredible and really once in a lifetime opportunity to actually travel to that really remote and beautiful part of the world, but in a really, really unique way, and traveling obviously with the Royal Navy and getting a unique insight into the work that they do down there, obviously working with lots of other organisations like SPRI and like the Antarctic Heritage Trust, and it was just a really fantastic insight into the landscapes and conservation work down there, and just being really immersed in that fantastic landscape. So yeah, I was very, very fortunate to be chosen, and yeah.
So I can see you've got one of your artworks with you. Is that one that you made while, or I guess you did the sketches while you were in Antarctica? So perhaps you can talk a bit about how that artwork came about.
Yeah, so this piece I call Ice Patrol, which is a little bit of a nod obviously to the Protector being an ice patrol vessel, and the Navy being on patrol down there in Antarctica. And we've got the little pod of orcas, which you probably can't very clearly see in the video, but we were really fortunate on this incredible blue sky day to see this pod of 19 orcas in Marguerite Bay, so not that far from Rothera, the British Antarctic Survey's research station. So yeah, this is a sort of a little bit of an amalgamation between a range of different sketches and that concept of these beautiful animals kind of progressing in front of these mountains and glaciers, and just taking little snippets of sort of the skies and clouds and from various different sketches and photographs from the trip. So yeah, this is my biggest piece, certainly by length, that I've done from the trip. So I really wanted the piece to feel very immersive, like you're really in amongst the kind of ice and the splendor of the mountains, and the beautiful colors, of course, of Antarctica.
So tell us a bit about how you sort of physically did the work then, because it was very cold, presumably, out on the deck of the ship. Were you able to do much drawing or produce much work while you were there, or how did that process work?
So it was a real kind of mix between lots of photographs. So I had a lovely camera and made a lot of photographic recordings when I was down there. Sketching and obviously getting off the ship with the crew when I could, and then taking little short snippets of sketching. But yes, it was really cold, so those tended to be quite short bursts. I was very fortunate that everyone on the ship was very generous with where I could go, and so I did a bit of sketching up in the crow's nest, which was like a really amazing 360 view of the landscape around the ship, and lots of sketching up in the bridge as well, actually. That was obviously that's all glass windows and a really, really great view of the passing landscapes and wildlife. So a little bit of a mix. So yeah, but basically getting reference material and then bringing it back to the studio when I got home to work on my studio work.
And are you still working on polar subject matter? Even,
yeah.
What are we, 4 years on now?
Yes. Yeah, well, I think my latest piece, which is going to be in the exhibition that you're putting together at the moment online, Charlotte, Glacial Monuments, was one which I produced, I think it was around August last year. So yeah, I'm constantly returning to the reference material and images that I made whilst I was down there, and I think that will always be the case for me because it was such a unique opportunity, and there's so much to work with, that I am intermittently compelled to get back down there through my kind of visuals and memories that I've made, and produce new pieces of work. So, yeah.
Well, you preempted my last question, which was about the lasting experience. Has the trip and your time in the Antarctic affected the way that you do your work? What kind of legacies do you think it has left you with?
Yeah, I think it's left a really, really lasting impact on the way I make my work as an artist, actually. I think it's such a unique privilege to be able to go down there. And actually, I think it's given me a lot more consideration when I'm making pieces of work, not just my Antarctic work, but when I'm traveling to other destinations, to really want to get across the essence of that place in a very kind of authentic way, and to be true to the species and the landscape and the light. And that was something I was always interested in before, but I think it's something that has been really sort of established in my style and my thinking towards my approach to making my work.
Fantastic. That was everything I had down to ask you, unless you've got anything else that you wanted to add for our viewers.
I don't think so.
Perfect. Well, in that case, thank you very much for your time. For those of you watching at home, you will be able to see a few more bits of Shelly's work. So we've got an online exhibition to go with the Big Freeze Festival, and we're hoping to have another video as well. So do keep looking at what we're doing with the festival, and thank you very much, Shelly, for your time.
Thank you for having me.